Thank you very much, Permanent Secretary Bishram Kupen. Minister Susan Rodriguez, NDC Chairperson for the Two-Flood Free and Easy NDC and the Neighborhood Democratic Council, for which the area you will be allocated falls under, Mr. Mark Anthony Khan. There's Dennis Tudor, Director of Operations of CHPA, performing the responsibilities for Central Housing and Planning Authority and in charge today. Various heads of CHPA, the staff in general of CHPA, who are generally in their yellow today, that they look at the color code, so you'll be able to identify them easily. You see, I think they probably don't send Minister and I the color code, so we're not decked in that color, right? But members of the media, but the most important persons here today are you who are seated here and the others who are on the other side at the school awaiting to be given or allocated their house lot, leaving here much better and their future secured. You've been hearing us frequently. You've been hearing our President, His Excellency, who has been on a number of engagements and outreaches right here in the region, and in fact that continues this afternoon. But if you listen all of the messages, you'll realize that we're consistent in what we're saying. And that is because as a government, we don't have different messages or different plans or programs. We have a mandate, we have a manifesto, and we've moved beyond the manifesto because we have already ticked all of the commitments we made prior to 2020. So we've moved beyond the manifesto. We no longer talk about just commitment to manifesto. We now speak towards fast-tracking and ensuring that the people of Guyana, the residents, the villagers, are able to, as quickly as possible, to benefit from the services we are providing as a government. But more importantly, to ensure that every day that we work to make your lives better, as well as to secure the future of the generation, the next generation. And so the housing program that is being delivered to you is not being done in a vacuum. It is done as part of our overarching focus to ensure that as citizens of our country, that the government that you entrusted under President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali in March 2020, never mind we had to wait 5 months to have the validation of your votes, but that trust you placed in us, we have shown, we have demonstrated beyond what we committed to you, and we therefore are saying to you, we are continuing on the path and we are seeking your ongoing commitment of entrusting us again when that time comes later this year, and to entrust our president, who has been working day and night, sleepless nights, to ensure that we can be able to, not just about delivering programs, but problem solving, coming up with recommendations. That's what leadership is about. That's what governance is about. It's about ensuring that as issues arise, we don't sweep it under the carpet. We meet, we discuss, we address those so that we can then move forward. And so sometimes when you read what we've said we will do 5 years ago, that's outdated, because our commitment for the now is as a result of us revising what we need to do. And this is not, as I've seen over the last few days or the last few weeks, comments on social media to say what we are doing in the housing program is political gimmick. And I ask you now here, we are in 2025, but if you look at what we have done in the first 4 years, starting as reminded by Minister Rodriguez, starting from the period when we were in COVID period, I recall our very first allocation exercise at the Lenora Stadium, or I think, correction, it was iFlood Ground. The very first allocation exercise was done at the end of 2020. The staff will never forgive me because it was December 23rd, the day before Christmas Eve, in COVID period. And you know what? We went until 1 o'clock that morning, ensuring that we work still to clear, because we were coming from a period 5 years before where nothing was done for Region 3 in the housing sector. And we started those allocations. And I'll go through the areas for you because it's important for us to account what we have done. So when you have somebody who's commenting to say, I have not seen their land, I have not seen my land, or I have not gotten my title, you'll understand what is happening. And we therefore ask of your patience, and I'm speaking here to you and your listeners now, we therefore ask of your patience because everyone will be served. Here in this region, today, for example, our stewardship, while we've committed 50,000 house lots, meaning 10,000 annually, that's what's in our manifesto. Our stewardship, as we start today, we will be starting with the total allocations of over 44,500. So when we're completed today, we will be a minimum of 45,500 because that's 1,000 we're making available in the Wales development. But Region 3, your pending applicants right now is about 10,000. We have allocated to date in this region. So anybody want to talk about political gimmick? We have allocated in Region 3, prior to today, over 9,424 house lots in Region 3. And recall, as Minister reminded us, when we started in 2020, we started with 14,000 pending applicants. So you do the math. You will ask yourself, if we start with 14,000, I just said to you that we have about 10,000 pending applicants as I speak, and we already allocated over 9,000. You will say, well, Minister, that makes sense. You're adding up. The reason being, because of the success story in housing, because of understanding the vision of what we're doing, our new applicants within the recent years have increased threefold. And so like this morning, I had to pass an instruction to the office, central office, because there were 80 new persons or 80 persons at the central office as I speak, although most of the core staff are here, that are at the central office for new applications. And there's only so much we can do in a day. And that is why I said to you, we ask of your patience, because this staff has been working beyond the call of duty. They have been working every single day to ensure that we can deliver and ensure that we have home ownership, which means not just allocations, but allocations, you have your agreement of sale, you have your title, so that you have a complete package. We have been working to ensure that happens for all of you. And so anyone who has received the services, I ask of your patience, and anyone who is to come, trust the process, because we have said to you, we are committed, and we are providing this in writing. So today, the persons who will be allocated will get a letter that speaks towards your area that you are allocated and the timeline for your infrastructure, as well as when you will access your land. Similarly, after today, all of the pending applicants prior to December 31st, 2024 will receive a letter, or will have available a letter that commits that we will allocate by July all pending applicants, or offer, I should say, because it's an offer, it's for you to accept. We will offer by July, end of July, all other pending applicants who are December 31, 2024 applicants and prior. So I really would like the media to understand and explain this. I now come to a comment that I've seen. You see, I like to pay attention to comments because, not for thin skin. Criticisms are good, constructive criticisms better, but it helps us to understand what the thinking is out there, and it also helps us to be able to respond. So when we announced that we will be clearing all the pending applicants in all of the regions except Region 4, I saw comments from persons from Region 4 that speaks towards to say, well, oh, we ain't bother voting for you. Oh, Region 4 is not that important. And a whole host of comments that when you listen or when you read, it's taken out of context. So let me put this in why we cannot do minus Region 4 to clear. Region 2, we have allocated to date over 1,200 applicants. That's 1,200. That's about close to 3% of the allocations we have done. Region 3, I just gave you the 8,000 figure. 21% of the applicants that we have allocated are from region number 3. And we have a pending application of, as I said, 10,000. Region 4, we have allocated over 25,800 applicants. 60% of the allocations that have been done to date has been for Region 4, and the pending applicants for Region 4 is over 45,000. Are we seeing the context? So it takes on average about 5 house lots per acre land. So if you examine the pending applicants, you will realize the Region 4 has the largest because it's the largest region where we have persons who have applied. But it is not that we have not been addressing Region 4. We just came out last Friday and Saturday where we allocated 1,500. And there will be more continuing. But we have to serve all of the regions. So just a bit of information. For example, Region 5. Region 5, just about 2,000 allocations, 4.5% of the allocations on overall. Region 6, 2,271 to date. That's just about 5.3% of the allocations. Region 7, 436 to date. That's about 1%. Region 8, which we're going in the next month, about 2. Region 9, 1,063, that's about 0.5% of the allocations. Region 10, 1,596, that's about 3.7% of the allocations done. So we'll understand, and it's important I put it out there, that we'll understand when we say, except Region 4, we'll be able to clear the backlog. It cannot be, that statement cannot be made unless we put into context what we have done, what we have achieved so far, what we will continue to do, and what we have awaiting us. The other bit of information I want to give to you, therefore, is that a lot of persons, today, we have called some persons for another aspect. And this is, when I speak about home ownership, is about ensuring we have security of tenure. That means that document, because you're getting a letter today, but that document that will signal it's your own, whether it's the certificate of title or transport. In Region 3, to date, we have commenced, or we have allocated in 12 new areas in 4 years, or 4.5 years. 12 areas in Region 3. And let me give you an account so that nobody don't ask after now. Well, they will ask still, because reading sometimes is a difficult thing. We deliberately put an advertisement out there. We've opened the system, as Mr. Rodriguez said. We deliberately put out there on the notification, at the bottom, the minimum deposit. You know why? So nobody will say that you have surprises on the category that you have. And we also put there for persons in Region 3, and we have identified West Coast, West Bank. You have no idea on my inbox how many Region 4 people message. So, where are we with the areas in Region 3? Plantation, Edinburgh. We have already, all the persons there can see their land, and we're in a position, so I'm saying this to people who have not done this. For agreement of sale and to process their title, for the following areas, you can do that if you have not. Plantation, Edinburgh, Anna Katrina, Cornelia Ida, Stewartville, Plantation, Stewartville, and Plantation, Metimersdorp. This was done very early, the same 2020 period that I spoke about at the end. All of those persons can see their lots. Plantation, Metimersdorp, Phase 2, we have about 130 lots yet to be shown, but the others can see their lot, and similarly, we're in a position where many of the persons have signed for the agreement of sale and their title. Plantation, Stewartville West, all persons there except 90 can see their lots, and they have signed, and they're in a position for the agreement of sale as well to process their title. Plantation, Stewartville East, similar to Stewartville West, there are 128 lots we have not shown. Dikendron, only the eastern portion can sign as I speak. We're currently sorting out the block title for the western portion. But all persons can see their land. Plantation, in Wales now we come to, well, one more. Plantation, Edinburgh, well, that's complete. Wales now, where you are being allocated. There are different areas, so on your letters you will see Plantation, Lorenzo, Friesland, Laurentia, Katrina, Vive la Force, A or B. Those are the 5 areas in Wales that we have allocated and we are allocating. So I hope to your listeners, therefore, that those who have allocated before don't ask a question, because we are processing, for those who have signed the titles, we are processing your ownership. But an important bit of information for you is that In 4 years, well, we have to say 3.5 because we didn't start it immediately in 2020. We have processed overall over 18,316 certificate of titles and the transports, of which 3,926 has been processed for Region 3 to date. Today, 768 certificate of titles will be available for persons in Region 3 who were allocated at Plantation Metamerzorg Phase 2. So don't ask now what happened to the other areas. They are processing. Those who have signed, it's going through a process. The certificate of title and transport, the processing does not end with Central Housing and Planning Authority. It starts with CHPA. So I receive, yes, on behalf of the staff, I receive a lot of your comments. Like, for example, over the last few days, the staff done, and I don't want to go repeat some of them. And another day, I'll address some of those names. You sign, you first of all sign for your agreement of sale. Now, agreement of sale is a legal document that you can take to the bank to start the process if you want to acquire a loan. You don't have to wait on the title. When the title comes, we then send that to the bank. There's a process. So that is why when sometimes people say they're waiting on agreement of sale, because once the bank is committed, we have the agreement of sale is then used. Now, when you sign for your agreement of sale, you also sign to process your title. That has to be done at 2 registries. The transport lands are processed at the deeds registry. The titles are processed at the land registry. So the land registry, the deed registry, has to process housing applicants, private citizens applicants, and all other issues. So they don't have our business alone. So the feedback time or the response time is also dependent on them. So that is why I say to you, have some patience, please. And some of those areas that I've just called, we only start signing within or under 3 months. Because you will all be getting your title. And that's, I'm speaking to the listeners because you now getting your allocation. I thought I'd just explain this because it's important. It will help some of the frustration, some of the criticism, etc. And the volume that we're handling, so for example, the APNUAFC period in 5 years, they only allocated 5,734 in 5 years. We are dealing with 40-something thousand. You see the difference? Similar amount of staff. My final comment, therefore, to you is, or my second to last, is today, too, they are on another initiative for home ownership. Is where our president on July 22nd, 2022, announced an initiative to come, and that was the steel and cement subsidy program. And therefore, what it does is to encourage construction, and that's when you have your land. It goes through an evaluation process, a physical process of verification. On that program already, we have disbursed over $467 million, over 1,868 vouchers. But for Region 3, we have disbursed over $53,500,000, over 214 vouchers were processed in Region 3. Today, another 37 very shortly will be available to collect their voucher. Another potential 9,250,000 thereabout. These are all injection and support to ensure home ownership. And not forgetting, you have a responsibility here when you're, as you're here, to engage the banks and the insurance companies, because they too have been very responsive, and that is why, as a result of the management, in result of the engagement, collaboration, and the vision, as well as the policies of our government, the banks have been very supportive, and that is why you have had as much as 3%. The mortgage lending rate for the low-income bracket has been reduced over these 4 years by 3%, from 6 point something to 3 point something on average. That therefore means to give you the opportunity to borrow more. You may, for some of you who are just here today to say, when will these people start? When I'm going to put my hand in the envelope and let's start? Some of these information may blow over you, but you will be wasting a lot of time if you don't start your engagement today to ensure that you move towards your home ownership of getting your necessary information. The area that you've been allocated today, as I said, we have started allocation there. We have done allocations about 2,800 to about 2,900 in the Wales area. And you've heard the President speaking out, or outlining the Wales community, what it will be like, as well as access. And you also heard on March 16, and I want to quote, the next phase for the new highway, and we're speaking Region 3 language, will go from the new bridge that go all the way to Wales and then go all the way to the Del Conte Road, that's the one for connecting for Region 7, which will see tens of thousands of acres of lands opening up for farmers, for housing, connecting Bartica, bringing the road back to Sandhill, taking it to Tomeri. So therefore, for Wales, in addition to your new bridge that you'll be getting access to in months, that will eliminate all this anxiety of like what you go through this morning when you're crossing, what time you're opening, what time it's closing, when it's two-way, when it's one-way, and all of that that goes through your head. We eliminate all of that. In addition to that, you already have on stream for access to your new development that you're going. We'll see therefore for new 4-lane road. And you know what? The letter that you'll receive says to you, your infrastructure work that for Wales has already been awarded. In fact, some of the works have already been completed for the first phase. So as early as 2 weeks from now, we will start for some of the allocations that were done prior. Some, not all, because they're different category and phases. We have injected in Wales infrastructure works alone for Wales, that's housing, $10.5 billion to ensure that our commitment is met. You will be accessing your land before the end of 2025, and the infrastructure first phase will also be completed. So you have, therefore, an advantage now that you're coming over people who were allocated before, because the younger generation no longer will speak about when can we get our home or our land. You're doing this at a much younger age. So from the time you apply at 21, therefore in few years you only have to wait. So do not take for granted, as the previous person said, do not take for granted the impact of the housing program and what we're doing. To commit to all of these things, we have spent over $250 billion in the housing program. So it is not, as I see the staff are lined up now, it's not as what you're about to do, to put your hand in an envelope, to collect that number and that's it. That's the easiest part of it. Our testimony, our bond, is by walking the walk, and that is why you are here today, because all People's Progressive Party civic governments has always made housing a priority for its people. And it is no different now, election or no election. It is no different come after election, before election, because under our president, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, you will continue to see the work being done and the commitment being made to ensure that you live that life that we all aspire to when you watch TV and you watch other countries and you want to say, when will we be like some of those countries? That work has already started. So when we speak about transformation, it is not just on a physical side. It is not just about infrastructure work. It is also about on the soft side, to ensure that the quality of where, for example, education being delivered, for the health services that is being provided, that the social care, for example, under the Ministry of Human Services, that all of these continue to improve and that you get the best quality that is available in the world. That is what your president and this PPPC government is aspiring to. That work has already started. Therefore, your future is secure, your future is bright now, but it is even brighter the days ahead. And you have that responsibility that will be entrusted unto you when you will be given that call to make a choice to ensure that the future, the path that we're on now, continues to happen and continues to quickly happen, even more so in Region 3, not just about the road access, but the important gas to shore project that will land here and your very wells, that has impact for the people of Guyana, where we committed that your electricity will reduce by 50%. That therefore means as simple as not just the manufacturing sector benefiting to be able to do more for employment opportunities, but even from your level. Some of you already have one ACs in your home. I'm sure it will allow you to do much more and live that more comfortable life. You've earned it because you have put the trust in the PPPC government, and therefore we have worked to ensure we deliver. The choice is yours. Come later this year to ensure that that path and development continues. Thank you very much for being patient here. I know it's a little hot. The process will move seamlessly, very quickly. And so those who have been vetted will be served. As I said, this is the first phase to commence on clearing as quickly by July the backlog. So it's not the end. So somebody who hasn't gone through the first 1,000, don't feel it's the end of the world. It's just the first phase. This is continuation. This is continuous exercise. So for example, the staff will be interrupted by Easter weekend, and the following week, we're in Region 6. So we're in every region. So don't ask for the listeners, don't ask when we come into X region, because we will be in every region. Have a God-blessed day. Please be patient, and you will be served. Thank you very much.